Magandang hapon po muli sa ating lahat. Ang ating pong topic ngayong hapon ay ang types of Qi. Kidney deficiency energy pattern. Kidney deficiency. Energy generally improve after sleep or rest. Short period of energy burst followed by period of complete exhaustion. Best time, nights, in time. Worst, midday. So, ganyan po yung itsura pag ang ating kidney ay deficient ang yin. Kidney yang deficiency. Problems starting to move after sleeping or resting. Lazy, once they get moving, they can go on without feeling tired. Until the next rest, best time, midday, worst, mornings, on waking. So, magkabaliktad lang po sila, no? Kidney yin and yang deficiency. Yan. So, chronic na po to kasi talagang sobrang baba na. Oh. Always tired. Best time, 3 to 7 p.m. Best time on organ clock for the kidney and urinary bladder coupled organ. Vital essence is called gene in Chinese, which also means seminal fluid. Technically, every time a man ejaculates, he loses vital essence. He can build it up during intervals by improving his acquired energy. But if there was a short period during which he loses excessive semen, then his vital energy becomes damaged for life. The ancient classics advocate that man should hold on to semen during sex, and that as they become older, they should ejaculate less frequently. Kailangan talaga ng discipline pag yun. Kailangan ng discipline para humaba ang buhay. Okay po. Women lose vital essence if they have many babies within a short period. We work with several different types of energy during treatment with acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. Dito po may naalala kong pasyente namin, 14 po yung inanak niya, lahat ng ngipin niya naubos. So alam naman natin yung ngipin malaki ang role din ng kidney at yung kidney andun nakatago ang ating yin essence. So yung nourishing energy naman po, Jing Qi. This runs in the deeper channels and in the blood vessels. So sa blood vessels po natin makikita. Made from the pure substance of our nutrition, this energy nourishes our interior and exterior. It can be influenced by food, breathing, sleep, exercise, internal medicine, bakshu and move point, and see points of the channels. So kaya napakahalaga po nung pagkain natin na tama. Saka yung environment siyempre natin na hindi polluted para yung ating jing qi ay malusog. Protecting energy, ito po yung wei qi. Ito naman po ay nagpo-flow sa skin at saka sa muscle. And the interior acupuncture channels. So ito po yung nagpo-protect sa atin from climatic factors. Ano biglang lumalamig, umiinit. Pag malakas ang wei qi natin, hindi tayo niya naapektuhan, hindi tayo nagkakasakit. And other impact of the exterior surface. It can be influenced by climate, massage, heat or cold on the skin, electrical stimulation, by pats and acupuncture. So nakakatulong po yun para ang wei qi ay mas lumakas. The nourishing and protecting energies are complementary to each other. The interior also nourishes the exterior, thereby helping its function more efficiently. The exterior stimulates and activates the interior, nourishing energy and protect it from climatic factors. Halimbawa nga po, kung malusog ang kinakain mo, so yung protecting energy from the interior ay malakas din. Tapos maganda yung environment mo, so yung wei qi mo, malakas din siya, yung exterior na pang-protect. When we treat acupuncture meridian in the superficial aspect of the body, we also stimulate the internal organs. And when one eats and drinks different substances, This can make us cold or hot in the exterior. Kaya malaking epekto po yun. Halimbawa, mahilig tayo sa malalamig, yung mga frozen, yung mga galing sa ref. So, naapektuhan po yung interior natin. From exterior po yung kinain, mag-a-affect po siya sa interior organ natin. Ito naman po yung harmful energy o Qi. Qi. Energy is not always of the good type. Like everything, as there is a good and bad. Humans encounter many forms. So yung mga bad energy po ay galing yan sa sobra kang na-stress, hindi ka, yung mga bad food, hindi healthy food yung kinakain natin, mga preservative, at kung ano-ano pa, no. Tapos yung hectic lifestyle, na alas din na nagpapahinga, exposure to excessive climatic factors. Halimbawa po yung laging nasa malamig, yung aircon na sobrang malakas. Yon. And emotional pressure. So parang yung kagabi po yung pasyente ko, ang pinagmumula ng pain niya sa likod niya dahil sa sobrang lamig ng kanilang opisina. They can all attack the body from outside and within. This being a source of pathogenic energy that cause imbalance and illnesses. Yun. Yung kagabi po pong pasyente, nung diniagnose ko po, talagang yung kulay ng dila niya halos yung sunog. Yung, tinanong ko kung naninigarilyo, papasok. Hindi raw, pero grabe po, parang kulay sunog. Dark na yung ng spleen stomach niya. At nung ma-interview ko po siya, ang dami niyang cyst. Meron po siyang cyst sa kidney, meron siya sa ovary. Dahil nung tinatanong ko rin yung mga history na niya, grabe yung stress sa trabaho, halos hindi nagpapahinga. Yun po, yun ang nangyari. Tapos yung lifestyle niya nung una pang, nung dalaga pa raw siya, gusto niyang kainin, sige kain, walang ingat. So ngayon pong nagme-menopause siya, mas maraming suffering yung katawan niya. Kasi alam naman natin po na Qi, yan, pababa na po siya, mas marami nang nararamdaman. So yung harmful energy, mas pumapasok, mas naramdaman na ng katawan. Okay po? Meron pa po ba daw? Ayun. For instance, eczema with red and itchy skin. So it's due to excessive heat and wind attacking the lung. But in the process of dispersing the pathogenic wind heat, it should not be transferred to another organ system because it is a harmful yang. So skin may improve, but another organ could get this pathogenic yang, which causes new symptoms. So it has been known that eczema improves, the patient could get asthma. So pwedeng gumaling yung skin niya, pero pwedeng nag-internalize sa kanyang lungs, kaya nagkaroon siya ng asthma. This means that the pathogenic factor has not been eliminated. So hindi naalis yung pathogenic factor. Mas pumunta ito move deeper into the organ system. So therefore, it is clear that harmful energy should always channel outwards. Kaya kung pag nanggagamot po tayo, kailangan nating mapalabas yung mga harmful energy na yon. So ma-eliminate po ito sa process na may dumi, maiihi, maipawis, showing bring outwards anger or sadness are very important in Chinese medicine. Well, alam na po natin na yung emotion ay napakalaking bahagi o isa siyang harmful energy. If these are not eliminated but retained within the body, the pathogenic energy can attack any number of organs. Alam naman, ang mga organs po natin na maaaring maapektuhan sa Shen cycle at sa Qi cycle, ipapasa po niya yung mga harmful energy na yon. It may manifest in many symptoms such as depression, asthma, headache, gastritis, high blood pressure, eczema, and asthma. So yun po ang nangyayari sa ating katawan pag maraming harmful energy na hindi na-excrete. Acquired Qi can be stored and replenished, and it is composed of, balik-aral lang po natin to kasi na-discuss na to ng maraming beses na doc. So yung Gucci po, ito yung ating spleen Qi. Anong gagaling sa spleen, which is derived from food and sustain the physical. So kung maayos yung ating mga kinain, ang ating Gucci ay balusog. Yung Qi naman po, derived from the oxygen of the air we breathe. So, nasa lungs po natin to, lung Qi. Tapos, pag nag-combine po ang Gucci at saka Qi, magiging Zong Qi. So, nasa chest na po natin. So, derived from the gathering of Go and Kong Qi in the chest. At the Yuan or original Qi to form Zen Qi. So, yung ating manang energy, yung Yuan Qi, pag nag-combine na po yon ay magiging ng Zen Qi. At sa Zen Qi, dito po nanggagaling ang ating nutritive Qi kasi yun dinidistribute sa ating katawan na nagiging dugo at si Wei Qi o defensive Qi natin. Po. So, ayan po. Si Zen Qi, mula siya, ay si Wei Qi ay galing kay Zen Qi. Ayun, defensive Qi natin na nag-exteriorize sa balat para hindi tayo agad lamigin, hindi tayo agad ubuhin. Lalaban muna si Wei Qi. Tapos para naman tayo maayos ang ating pagkilos sa araw-araw. Yun. Si Jing Qi naman po yung nagbibigay ng lakas sa atin. Si Song Qi, galing siya sa air at galing sa air at saka sa food na kasama din po si Yuan Qi. Yung from air food, nabubuo si Song Qi. Okay po. So your vital energy or Qi flows through every channel called meridian. So pag hinahanap, din natin nakikita ang Qi yan po siya dumadaloy sa mga meridian. At yan tayo nag-acupuncture, pag in-acupuncture natin yung mga points, doon po lumalakas yung mga Qi. At nagtatanggal siya na halimbawa excess yang, excess yin, deficient yang, deficient yin, yun po yung ginagawa ng acupuncture sa mga meridian natin. Pinapalakas niya o nagtatanggal. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Mildred. Do we have any questions? So review lang po ito and I hope everybody was able to get something new. Okay. So maraming salamat, Ma'am Mildred. We will now proceed to the next topic, tongue diagnosis. And let's call straight from Rizal, Ma'am Teresita Sumile. Good afternoon, Ma'am Teresita.
Good afternoon po, Dr. Hector, at sa lahat na po. Welcome po sa tongue diagnosis. Actually, natapos na po natin ang whole course ng tongue diagnosis last Tuesday. But since we are not expert yet, i-review natin para magiging expert po tayo, okay? Now let's start from the general principles. Introduction. Tongue diagnosis is a very important part of diagnosis by observation. The strength of tongue diagnosis lies in its clarity and objectivity, especially when compared to pulse diagnosis. Tongue diagnosis is quite objective when a tongue is too red or too pale. This can be observed objectively. Another important strength of tongue diagnosis is its capacity to shed light on complicated conditions. For example, a simultaneous deficiency of kidney yin and kidney yang is quite common in women over age 40, especially menopausal women. This simultaneous deficiency can give rise to confusing hot and cold manifestations. The tongue will indicate quite clearly whether there is a predominance of kidney yang or kidney yin deficiency. The principal aspects of tongue diagnosis are the tongue body color, the tongue body shape, and the coating. The tongue reflects the state of internal organs and that of qi and blood. From the 8 principal points of view, it clearly reflects heat-cold, full empty, and yin-yang conditions. Conditions for examining the tongue. Letter A is lighting. Proper lighting is absolutely essential for correct examination of the tongue, and the only good lighting is natural light on a sunny day. The room where the patient is examined should have an abundant source of natural light. For example, no proper natural light can ever be achieved in a basement. Okay? Even in daylight, the color of the tongue can only be interpreted properly indoors if the day is sunny. On a cloudy day, the color of the tongue cannot be accurately observed indoors. If the patient is examined on such a day, it is advisable when observing the tongue to ask the patient to stand next to the window or even outdoors. Obviously, it is seldom possible to achieve ideal conditions if it is necessary to observe the tongue on a cloudy day or in the afternoon or evening. The best artificial light is that of a halogen bulb, and the best way to observe the tongue is by means of table lamp fitted with one of these bulbs that we can hold very near the surface of the tongue. Okay? Yun lang po. Thank you so much for listening. Let's continue this tomorrow.
Okay, we will continue on April 10. Holy Week po tayo.
Ay, okay. Sorry po.
Bakasyon muna tayo. Okay, sige po.
Okay.
Holy Week. It's okay. So I hope everybody is excited. We're going all over again. And this time we'll try to make it as detailed as possible because we feel that tongue diagnosis is very, very important. It actually distinguishes a good practitioner from a so-so practitioner. Diba?
Yes, Doc. Malaking tulong po talaga pag tinitingnan natin yung tongue para pag nagtatanong na po tayo, sususugan natin yung lahat ng nakikita
Automatic
sa tongue.
na. Opo. Kaya wala ako masyadong high regard for those who do not know tongue. No? So, siguro naman, all of us are aware that we have been doing this for the past, I think magti 3 years na tayo. So, for tongue. Because
Ulit-ulit lang po para
ulit-ulit
magiging
lang.
expert.
hanggang sa, ma-memorize mo na, automatic na. No? In fact, dapat before mabuksan, makita yung tongue, may idea ka na ano makikita mo. No? Nakakatulong
Doc.
talaga sa diagnosis. Para naman yung pasyente, hindi naman masayang yung kanyang ibabayad. Okay. So,
Actually, Doc, pag ginagamit po natin yung tongue, minsan talaga na-amiss yung pasyente natin kasi hindi mo pa siya na-interview, nahulaan mo na. Nahulaan mo na yung ano niya, yung sinasabi ng doktor minsan po. Ay, sabi nung yung pasyente ko sa niya, ay, oo, yan yung sinabi ng doktor sa akin. So, yun po,
yeah,
parang naglalaboratory tayo sa tongue.
totoo po, no? Kaya dapat lahat marunong po niyan. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Teresita, na I'm
Thank you din po, Dr.
you're even
Hector.
better than some. Effort lang talaga. I always believe in persistence. Kasi pag tamad ka mag-aral, you will never go anywhere. No? Okay, let's
Practice na
go.
po yan si ma'am.
At saka, the patient will be so amazed. And it's one way of really establishing a very good relationship kasi minomonitor niyo yung tongue. At saka malalaman niya bakit kailangan itutuloy pa yung treatment. Diba?
Yes
Yeah.
po. Kahit sa
Opo.
atin din pong manggagamot, Doc, excited din na
And,
kailangan mo makita ulit kung anong development.
Totoo. And I'm sure Ma'am Teresita, hindi siya napapagod paulit-ulit. I'm sure.
Para magiging expert po, Doc.
Opo. So,
Kaya
thank you
i-practice
very
mo
much.
na ate.
Yeah. Ay, marunong na yan as in. Okay. Let's
Ay,
now
hindi
go
pa.
Pasok
to,
na po yan.
let's
Hindi
now go
pa
to,
reviews, ha?
punta naman tayo sa diagnosis by interrogation. We will talk about internal conditions for feeling of cold. So, sa internal diseases, if you have questions about feeling cold, this will establish the cold nature ng presenting patterns. Alam naman natin na ang cold pwedeng excess or full or empty or deficient. And whether it manifests with a feeling of cold. So kung ang person feels easily cold and experiences cold limbs, so this clearly indicates either full cold or empty cold, secondary to yang deficiency. So in patients with chronic diseases, empty cold is more common than full cold. Full cold, meron po tayong intense feeling of cold and shivers. Pagkatapos, the body also feels cold to the touch. Various parts of the body may feel particularly cold depending on the location of the cold. Pag ang cold nasa stomach, yung yung limbs and epigastrium will feel cold. Pag nasa intestines, okay, the legs and lower abdomen are cold. So pag alam nyo na, pag malamig yung paa, pati lower abdomen, nasa intestines yung cold. Pag nasa uterus, yung lower abdomen niya feels cold. So full cold has a sudden onset and may last only a few months at the most because cold will inevitably injure the yang. And so pag na-injure ang yang, magkakaroon tayo ng yang deficiency, so magkakaroon ng empty cold. Clinical manifestations of full cold, so intense feeling of cold and shivers, body feels noticeably cold and relatively hard to touch, ayan yung pahawak. And then pain, may full pulse, sudden onset. Yang deficiency of any organ, may cold feeling po at saka malamig yung limbs. It could be due to deficiency of yang ng heart, lungs, spleen, kidneys, and stomach. Yung cold feeling is both subjective and objective. The patient feels easily and frequently cold, tapos yung kanyang limbs or other parts of the body will feel cold to the touch. Okay, a deficiency of yang of the lungs and heart, meron po tayong cold hands. So remember, pag malamig po yung kamay, meron po tayong possibly heart yang deficiency or lung yang deficiency. And pag malamig po yung limbs, pati yung abdomen, so dapat kapain mo yung abdomen, baka meron siyang spleen yang deficiency. At saka pag malamig yung paa, knees, feet, pati back, no? Meron pong kidney yang deficiency yung pasyente. So this is very, very important. Kaya madaming nanonood sa atin. A deficiency, pag meron naman tayong stomach yang deficiency, meron pong cold epigastrium and cold limbs na pareho po sa spleen yang deficiency. So let's take a look at the figures. So again, pag may lung and heart yang deficiency, malamig yung kamay, no? Pag malamig yung kamay, ang limbs, hindi pala kamay, yung limbs, no? And the abdomen, that's spleen yang deficiency. Pag malamig yung paa, malamig din yung likod, that could be kidney yang deficiency. Okay? So clinical manifestations ng empty cold, mild persistent cold feeling or tendency to feeling cold. So empty cold is cold secondary to yang deficiency. Body is mildly cold to touch. Wala po siyang pain kasi empty. Weak pulse, slow gradual onset. There are other causes of cold limbs, no? One is Qi stagnation. Ay, totoo po ito. Pag nag-stagnate po yung Qi natin, lumalamig. Lalo na pag nagalit ka, lumalamig yung kamay. When Qi stagnates, it may fail to reach the hands and feet, and these become cold. Tawag po dito is four rebellious syndrome, in which the four rebellious, this refer to cold hands and feet. Okay. An important difference if the cold limbs are due to yang deficiency or Qi stagnation. Sa yang deficiency po, the whole limb will be cold. Sa Qi stagnation, only the hands and feet, especially yung fingers. Actually, this happened to me last. I think you know what happened. Naramdaman talaga ng pasyente, biglang lumamig yung kamay ko. So, I'm grateful na may mga taong may puso, no? Kaya be nice. So, I don't want to remember it because every time I remember it, sumasakit yung tiyan ko. Pero good luck to the one who is responsible for that, because I will never forget it. Okay. Besides this, cold limbs may derive in women from blood deficiency due to deficient blood not reaching the extremities. Pag mayroon pong heart blood deficiency, yung hands and chest malamig, pati yung chest, no? In liver blood deficiency, malamig po ang feet. Okay? Lalo na pag babae. So, here, pag may Qi stagnation, cold ang hands and feet. Totoo po yan. Qi stagnation. Pag meron pong heart blood deficiency, malamig yung chest pati yung kamay. Tapos liver blood deficiency, malamig po yung paa mo. Okay. We should bear in mind that even if a patient feels cold in general, may possibility na may feeling of heat siya in a specific part of the body, like the face. So we should always remember to ask about specific parts of the body pagkatapos natin natanong yung general feeling. Okay, a very common example sa babae is general cold feeling with occasional episodes of feeling hot in the face. Okay, so always remember this, when a patient feels cold in general, remember to ask whether he feels hot in any particular part of the body. So to summarize, cold feeling and cold leans. So pag mayroon po tayong heart and or lung yang deficiency, cold hands, sweaty hands. Ay, naku, ang daming ganyan. Okay, spleen yang or stomach yang deficiency, cold leans and abdomen. Kidney yang deficiency, cold legs, knees, feet, and back. Qi stagnation, kaya pag nakapa mo yung likod niya malamig, kidney yang deficiency po yan. Qi stagnation, cold hands and feet, especially the fingers. Kaya napansin nung ina-aculift ko, lumabik yung kamay ko. Pero okay lang. Heart blood deficiency, cold hands and chest. Liver blood deficiency, cold feet. Treatment? Okay, if you have, yung mga malalamig yung kamay, sweaty, no? You can use lung 9, heart 5, of course, the back shoe, bladder 13 and bladder 15. Spleen yang, stomach yang deficiency, REN 12, bladder 20, bladder 21, stomach 36. Very easy. Kidney yang deficiency, malamig yung likod, yung paa, yung knees. Bladder 23, REN 4, kidney 3. Qi stagnation, liver 3. Heart blood deficiency, heart 7, REN 13. Liver blood deficiency, liver 8, stomach 36, spleen 6, and REN 4. Because REN 4 is for the yin and blood is yin. Maraming salamat po. Are there any questions? Okay, no questions. Punta na tayo po sa pulse diagnosis. Let's welcome straight from Legazpi, Sir Dino. Good afternoon, Sir Dino.
Good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon, classmates. Topic natin is classification of pulse qualities. Pulse qualities can be classified in various ways, each of which helps to shed more light on their nature. So, the 8 basic groups of pulse qualities. Number 1 is yung floating pulse. Yung floating is hollow, leather, could be soggy or overflowing. Sa deep pulse naman, merong deep, merong hidden, and firm. Sa slow pulses, merong slow and knotted. Sa rapid pulses, rapid, hasty, hurried, overflowing, and moving. Sa slippery pulse naman, slippery, soggy, and moving. Sa choppy pulse, choppy, and scattered. Sa empty pulses, empty, weak, soggy, fine, minute, scattered, short, choppy. Sa full pulse, full, wiry, tight, big, overflowing, long. Of course, the same pulse quality may appear in more than one category according to different aspects. Example, yung overflowing appears in the floating and the full categories. The different aspect for the classification of pulse qualities. It may help us to understand the nature of pulse qualities if we realize that they reflect different aspects of the pulse. For example, slow and rapid clearly refer to an irregular of the rate of the pulse, whereas knotted, hasty, and intermittent refers to an irregularity of the rhythm. According to depth naman, floating, deep, hidden, firm, leather. According to rate, slow, rapid, slow down, hurried, moving. According to strength, empty, full, weak, scattered. According to size, big, overflowing, fine, minute. According to length, long, short, moving. According to shape, meron tayong slippery, choppy, wiry, tight, moving, hollow, firm. According to rhythm, knotted, hasty, intermittent. Of course, some pulse qualities escape such classification because they are defined according to more than one aspect. The following pulse qualities are good examples. The soggy pulse is defined according to depth. It is floating. Size, it is thin. And the strength, it is soft. Sa leather pulse, it is defined according to strength. It is empty at the deep level, and sa depth naman is relatively superficial. The firm pulse is defined according to depth. It is deep, yung strength niya is full, and yung shape niya, it is wiry. The scattered pulse is defined according to strength naman. It is weak, sa depth naman niya is relatively floating, and yung shape, it is broken up. Okay po, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Sir Dino. I hope everybody got that. It's actually a summary of the quality of pulses. We will now proceed to differential diagnosis. Let's welcome Ma'am Needs. You. Good afternoon, Ma'am Needs.
Good afternoon, Doc Hector, and good afternoon, everyone. How's my audio, Doc?
Very clear as always.
Okay, thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay. The topic for today in our 177 DCM Foundations is damp heat in the liver. Okay. So, according to 5-element theory, anger and other related emotions such as resentment, unfulfilled desires, frustration, etc. are attributed to liver. The relationship between an organ and its corresponding emotion is reciprocal. Okay? The liver, for instance, is responsible for the free and smooth flow of qi, which has a deep relationship with a person's emotional states. So, makikita nyo yung sa tao, okay, sa emotion niya, kung may problema siya sa liver. Conversely, anger, repressed emotions, etc. affect the liver organ itself and disrupt the smooth flow of qi in the body. If liver is functioning well and its qi is flowing smoothly, the emotional state will be happy and relaxed or free and easy. Emotions will be freely expressed. When liver qi does not freely flow, stagnation of qi occurs and it affects the emotional state. This causes anger and irritability. Over a long period of time, stagnation of liver qi impairs circulation of qi and can cause emotional states of constant low-level anger, depression, and resentment. This may be transferred to and appear in the physical body, such as the chest, the breast in women, hypochondriac region, epigastric region, or throat. Stagnation of liver qi therefore produces feelings of tightness in the chest and hypochondriac region, often with frequent sighing, pain, and swelling of the breast, tension in the stomach, the sensation of a lump in the throat. Okay? So, itong pattern na to is caused by excessive heat in the liver and dampness due to spleen deficiency. Dampness is created if the spleens function such as transportation and transformation is impaired. When damp heat builds up, flow of Qi is disturbed, resulting in Qi stagnation symptoms. Kapag tumagal ng matagal na panahon, ang dampness nagiging cause ng formation of phlegm. Therefore, ang pasyente may often have a feeling of fullness in the hypochondrium, abdomen, or hypogastrium. They also feel general heaviness of the body. Since dampness has a tendency to flow downwards, it often settles in the lower burner, causing urinary bladder infections, a burning feeling, and vaginal discharge, itching, and infection. It often manifests in the genitals, resulting in sores or eczema in the area. Okay? Minsan sa diet din. Poor diet harms the spleen function of T and T. So, such as prolonged and excessive consumption of cold and raw food, excessive intake of dairy food and greasy food, refined sugar, coffee, and alcohol. Irregular diet and lifestyle habits can also be the cause. Okay? Emotional stress, as we tackled, emotional stress such as anger also contributes since they cause liver Qi stagnation. External dampness din, yung frequent cause for the formation of damp heat, especially in hot tropical countries. Ngayon, mainit. The external evils invades the liver channel through the legs and eventually settle down in the liver. Okay? So, let's summarize. Damp heat in the liver, ang etiology, irregular diet and lifestyle. Yung lifestyle, yung excessive consumption of greasy foods, excessive anger, parang nagagalit, at climatic damp heat, katulad ngayong panahon na to. Underlying and or accompanying pathology, spleen deficiency with dampness, stagnation of liver Qi. Sign and symptoms, fullness in the hypochondrium, bitter taste, heaviness of the body, yellow vaginal discharge, vaginal itching, genital rashes, mild cycle bleeding or pain, may masakit, may redness and swelling of the scrotum, difficult burning and painful urination. So, observe nyo po yung mga symptoms. Ang pulse kapag pinalpate mo ay slippery, wiry, or rapid. Ang tang naman, red with redder sides at mayroong sticky yellow coating. So, ang treatment principle, course the liver and clear damp heat, transforms damp in middle burner. Treatment na gagamitin natin points, bladder 18, it dispels hepatocystic damp heat, liver 14, calms the liver and disinhibits the Qi, gallbladder 24, courses gallbladder, transforms damp heat, triple warmer 6 with GB34, relieves pain in lower ribs, spleen 9, moves central burner and transforms damp heat. Magandang point yung spleen 9 pagka may damp. Okay? Liver 3, courses liver Qi. So, ang gagamitin nating technique ay drainage or reducing technique. Okay? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Neets. So from differential diagnosis, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa acupuncture patterns and practice. And we will give you once again, Sir Dino, na talagang master na yung wheezing. Okay. Good afternoon, Sir Dino.
Good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon, classmates. Topic is the wheezing. Wheezing is a condition that flares up paroxysmally. It falls in the category of latent rheum accumulation among illness of phlegm rheum. It is characterized by a whistling sound during exhalation, rapid breathing, and dyspnea. So during palabas po yung hangin. In severe cases, the patient has great difficulty breathing in a recumbent position and prefers etiology and pathology. In general and basic pathology, that produce wheezing is phlegm lodged in the interior and stimulated by by a new exogenous pathogenic agent attacking the body. It blocks the air passage and impairs the dispersion and descent of lung qi. Phlegm is an abnormal product, the result of transformation from the body fluids. The spleen is located at the center of the body. It governs the transportation and transformation of the essence of food as well as fluids. Hence, it is said the spleen is the source of phlegm. However, disturbance of the functions of the other visceral organs can also produce phlegm. And at the same time, the process cannot be severed from the influence of many exogenous pathogenic agents on the human body. For example, when the wind, cold, or dryness, heat attack the lung, this exogenous evil may become lodged in the lung system and impair the movement of both qi and fluids. And after many days, turbid phlegm is formed. An inappropriate diet such as excessive raw and cold foods, foods of strong flavors, or food laden with fats or sweet may lead to injury of the spleen. Inhaled pollen, fumes, and noxious gases, as well as cigarette smoke over many years can also irritate the air passages and cause the production of phlegm. In addition, in certain situations in which genuine qi becomes injured or deficient, phlegm may also form. This includes frustration of the passion, impairment of qi flow leading to qi stagnation, weakening of the body following a major illness and not properly managed, impairment of the function of various visceral organs, inherent deficiency of kidney qi leading to diminished resistance, deficiency of lung qi, and deficiency of yin, permitting the rise of exogenous heat. Whenever phlegm is formed and permitted to lodge in the interior, it may gel and not dissipate. In this state, when stimulated by an additional pathogenic agent, it can stir, following qi in the movement and accumulate in the lung system. This way, it is potentially an ever-present cause of wheezing. The lung governs qi movement and regulates respiration. It links with the skin and hair on the surface and is responsible for the function of dispersion and depuration. Failure of lung qi to disperse and descend is the basic mechanism leading to wheezing. Since turbid phlegm often lodges in the lung is the container of phlegm. Because phlegm tends to remain in the body, it gradually wears down genuine qi. If the spleen now becomes insufficient, so that its transportation and transformation function are impaired, the new phlegm is formed. If the lung qi is depleted, the resistance of the defensive level is weakened, allowing exogenous agents to attack effectively or endogenous factors to arise. In such circumstances, phlegm readily compromises the dispersion and depuration action of lung qi, forcing it to rise abnormally and resulting in wheezing, rapid breathing, and dyspnea. Sa clinical manifestation, wheezing is typically associated with air hunger, gasping, wet-sounding whistling in the throat, cough with sputum, and chest tightness. The whistling characteristically resembles the croaking of frogs. Parang frog daw. It tends to develop abruptly or follows chill and fever, sneezing, nasal, and throat itch, cough, or chest tightness, nausea, and vomiting, abdominal distension, or emotional distress. it tends to worsen. The patient has difficulty breathing with a prolonged exhalation pace and often resist lying down. So ayaw niyang humiga. Hirap huminga. Cupping tends to be unproductive but may bring up mucoid or water-like sputum. And if the patient is able to expectorate mucoid sputum, the wheezing may briefly alleviate. Pag nailabas yung sputum, pwedeng mawala yung wheezing sound. If wheezing is severe, the patient may attempt to breathe with an open mouth and raise shoulder to strengthen expansion of the chest. There may be palpitation of the heart, anxiety and agitation, profuse cold sweat on the forehead, cyanosis of the lips, bulging of the eyeballs, and distress. Each attack of wheezing may last a few minutes, several hours, or even several days. During remission, the patient may be free of all symptoms or may have mild productive cough or slight shortness of breath. If the illness is chronic and the attack is recurrent, even during remission, there may be gasping breathing, noisy breathing, spontaneous sweating with mild intolerance, merong fatigue, emaciation, flank aches, and edema. In general, wheezing first appears during childhood and may be precipitated by wind injury, seasonal changes, excessive fatigue, intemperate diet, and irregular living habits. It often recurs repeatedly over several years or several decades. Wheezing attacks shows a strong relationship to seasons, occurring commonly between early autumn and early winter, and the next most commonly during spring. Few attacks occur in summer. Some patients, however, have attacks all year round. Wheezing is often hereditary and affects relatives as well. So, namamana po ang wheezing. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Sir Dino. Any questions? Okay, after wheezing, punta naman tayo sa cold sores. And this time, let's call on Ma'am Teresita Sumile to make the presentation. Good afternoon po ulit, Ma'am Teresita.
Yes po, Doc. Good afternoon again. At sa lahat na po. Welcome po sa Signs and Symptoms. Cold sores ang topic po natin ngayon. We have in full condition, invasion of heat. When heat has signs and symptoms like cold sores at the corner of the mouth or on the edge of the upper lip, aversion to cold, fever, cough, sore throat, stuff or runny nose with yellow discharge, headache, body aches, slight sweating, slight thirst, swollen tonsils, tongue slightly red on the sides in the chest area or on front part. The pulse is floating rapid. Acupuncture points recommended are LI4, TB5, bladder 12, lung 7, and LI11. Next is damp heat in the stomach. Signs and symptoms are cold sores at the corner of the mouth or on the edge of the lower lip, a sticky taste, thirst with no desire to drink, facial pain, stuffed nose or thick sticky nasal discharge, a feeling of fullness and pain of the epigastrium, a feeling of heaviness, nausea, a feeling of heat, dull yellow complexion, red tongue with sticky yellow coating, and the pulse is slippery and rapid. Acupuncture points recommended are REN 12, REN 9, stomach 9, LI 11, REN 5, and bladder 22. Now we have empty full condition. Stomach deficiency with empty heat. Signs and symptoms are cold sores at the corner of the mouth, or on the edge of the lower lip, dry mouth in the evening, dull or burning hypogastric pain, feeling of heat in the afternoon, thirst with desire to drink or small sips, dry stools, slight feeling of fullness after eating, night sweating, five palm heat, bleeding gums, red tongue or red center at the red center only, without coating in the center, floating, empty, and rapid pulse. Recommended acupuncture points are stomach 44, spleen 6, REN 12, stomach 36, LI 4, and LI 11. Now we have also other patterns. Stomach heat. Signs and symptoms are cold sores at the corner of the mouth or on the edge of the lower lip, foul breath, thirst, burning epigastric pain, sour regurgitation, nausea, excessive hunger, a feeling of heat, red tongue with a yellow coating, and overflowing rapid pulse. Next is heat in the large intestine. Signs and symptoms are cold sores in the upper lip, constipation with dry stools, burning sensation in the mouth, dry tongue, burning and swelling in burning and swelling in anus, scanty dark urine, thick yellow or brown or black, dry tongue coating, full rapid pulse, often wiry on both rear positions. Next is damp heat in the large intestine. Cold sores on the upper lip, abdominal pain that is not relieved by a bowel movement, diarrhea, mucus and blood in stools, offensive odor of stools, burning in the anus, scanty dark urine, fever, sweating that does not decrease the fever, a feeling of heat, thirst without a desire to drink, a feeling of heaviness in the body and limbs, a feeling of oppression of the chest and epigastrium, red tongue with sticky yellow coating, slippery rapid pulse or pulse that is slippery and wiry on both the rear positions. Clinical note. Use LI4 contralaterally for the corners of the mouth, that is, on the left, or for a cold sore on the right, and vice versa. Yun lang po. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Teresita. Unless there are questions, we will now proceed to asthma. That's welcome straight from Pangasinan, the ever reliable Sir Aldrin Hukay. Good afternoon po, Sir Aldrin. Sir Aldrin. Hello po. Okay.
Mukhang sira yung microphone. Dinig na ako?
Dinig na. Akala namin binabagyo ka na. Okay.
Ay, opo. Hindi na ako naka-microphone. Mukhang...
mas okay pa siya, oo.
Okay, so proceed po tayo sa asthma lesson natin. Share screen lang po ako. So, pang 10th na ito ng ating lesson sa asthma. So, we will discuss late onset non-allergic asthma. So, pag sinabi nating late onset, ito yung parang sa mga sa mga around 30s or 40s, ganyan. So iba ito doon sa early onset asthma na dinidiscuss natin lately, na usually sa mga children, sa mga bata. Okay? So late onset non-allergic asthma is not allergic and occurs without eczema. Okay, so take note of this. is not allergic and occurs without eczema. As its name implies, it starts later in life, usually during the 30s or 40s. So, ngayon yung paano iti-treat ito, ganyan, yung sa mga ginagamit natin na treatment doon sa tsuri ng Xiaochuan, pwede po natin gamitin po yon. Okay? So, late onset asthma is characterized more often by spleen deficiency manifesting with a swollen tongue. Okay, so meaning more on ang pathology nito is spleen deficiency. So given na spleen deficiency yan, magmamanifest po yan sa tongue, like swollen tongue. Okay, kasi pag deficient po si spleen, we all know yung kanyang transportation at saka transformation function. So meaning kapag hindi yan nakakapag-transform and transport effectively, magmamanifest yung dampness at saka phlegm. Okay, so characteristic niyan, dampness and phlegm is swollen tongue. Okay? So ngayon, let's discuss a new theory of asthma. Okay? Because we have seen the theory of Xiao Chuan is not adequate to diagnose and treat allergic asthma and eczema. So we must attempt to develop a new theory of allergic asthma in Chinese medicine. Okay? So yun nga, yung mga previous discussion natin, talagang hindi sapat yung theory ng Xiao Chuan. May mga signs and symptoms lang yung asthma na related siya. Pero in terms ng pathology, etiology, signs and symptoms, so hindi lahat saklaw niya, okay? So meaning, based dito sa author, need na mag-develop ng panibagong theory. Okay? It should be stressed here that the following is by no means a definitive new theory of asthma and that it will need much refining and revising according to clinical experience. So meaning, parang ang gusto lang sabihin nito, when we develop new theory, ganyan, need talaga pa ng clinical practice, okay? Para masabi natin na ito yung pathology niyan, ito yung etiology niyan, ito ang treatment niyan. So, in replacement, kumbaga sa Xiao Chuan, ganyan, para makapag-develop tayo ng panibagong theory, talagang dadaan pa talaga sa clinical trial yan or clinical experience. Okay? So, meaning, as long as pwede natin gamitin pa rin yung mga treatment natin principle sa Xiao Chuan habang dinidevelop natin yung new theory through clinical practice. Okay? So this discussion will concentrate on the diagnosis and treatment of early onset asthma, also called extrinsic or allergic asthma. Okay, so the discussion will also center primarily on the clinical manifestation of allergic asthma in children as opposed to adult. Okay, so one of the reasons why the theory of Xiao Chuan does not precisely apply to asthma is simply that allergic asthma probably did not exist in ancient China. Okay, so yon. Siyempre, nung dinidevelop itong theory ng Xiao Chuan, may mga bagay na hindi talaga pa mai-consider at that time, lalo na kapag sa China, parang hindi applicable yung ibang mga etiology, pathology, ganon. Kasi sa China nga naman, sa China, walang, sabi dito, does not precisely apply to asthma is simply that allergic asthma probably did not exist in ancient China. Even in modern times, it is relatively rare in China and the Far East, and its incidence is far higher sa Western countries. Okay? So the development of allergic asthma must obviously be related to Western lifestyle, as the incidence of allergic asthma in Chinese people who live in the West and adopt the Western lifestyle is the same as for Westerners. Okay, so yon po yon. So sa atin, ganyan dahil although nasa east din tayo, 'di ba? Yung location ng Philippines malapit tayo sa China, ganoon. I think very dominant din kasi yung Western culture sa atin. Ganoon. Kaya yung mga pagkain na kinakain ng Westerners na-adapt natin. Okay? So, yon kaya I think applicable ito na sa atin mismo sa Philippines as TCM practitioner, makapag-develop din talaga tayo ng theory papaano i-address yung early onset asthma. Lalo't-lalo na 'di ba sa atin din mga bata pa lang may mga asthmatic na ganoon. So, yun po yun. So, etiology and pathology, two main factors play a role in the pathogenesis of asthma. First, deficiency of both lung at saka kidneys, defensive Qi system. Okay? So, very important din to, lalo na sa early onset. So, alam naman natin kasi yung sa kidneys natin, di ba? Sa mga bata pa lang, kumbaga, anong ngalan nito? Yung kidneys natin, yung kidney essence, namamana natin yan dun sa mga parents natin, right? So, meaning kapag deficient yan, anong aasahan natin na namamanahin na kidney essence ng mga children, right? So meaning, from the start pa lang, ganyan masasabi na natin na meron talagang deficiency dito, both the kidneys and lungs. Okay? So sabi dito, the former accounts for the root of the disease, the later for its manifestation. Okay, so tuloy lang natin. The lung spread defensive Qi or the Wei Qi. So alam natin na si lungs, 'di ba, siya po yung sa defensive Qi natin to the skin and the muscle. Kasi yung Wei Qi natin nagre-reside din in between the skin of the muscle. Tapos ang in charge diyan yung ating lung Qi, siya po yung nag-i-spread niyan. Then the other way around naman, yung kidney natin, siya po yung root of the defensive Qi. Defensive Qi is yang in nature and it warms skin and muscles. So kidney yang is the source of all yang energies of the body. So meaning kapag deficient si kidney yang, definitely magiging deficient din po yung ating defensive Qi. Okay? Ano ang i-spread ng lung kung deficient si defensive Qi? From kidney yang deficiency, right? Okay, so yun, ganun po yun. The spiritual axis says nutritive Qi emerges from the middle burner and defensive Qi from the lower burner. So the kidneys are paired with the bladder. So the kidney yang provides Qi to the bladder for its transformation of fluid. So in the process of this transformation, some clear part of the fluid flows upward along the bladder channel in the back to the skin and muscles where they mingle with the defensive Qi. Okay? So ito yung 'di ba, bladder yung in charge doon sa transformation of fluid. Yung turbid, ganyan, yun po yung papunta na sa urine. Ini-excrete na natin through urination. Ngayon yung clear naman, umaakit pa yan, pabalik doon sa going upward, pabalik. Okay? Para i-circulate pa nung ating lungs. Kaya kung papansinin nyo po, ganyan yung lungs natin, kapag sinicirculate na yung Qi, may kasamang moisture yon, ganyan, may kasamang water, kumbaga, kapag isinicirculate na po niya yan. Okay? Nagme-merge kasi siya, nagmimingle po siya. So, this is another indirect way in which kidney yang is the root of defensive Qi. So, yun, to illustrate yung diniscuss natin, yun, hindi na ako mag-further explain dito sa illustration. Ganyan po. Then, beside this, both the bladder channel and the governing vessel, the dumai, which spread the defensive Qi all over the back in the greater yang area, are connected to the kidneys. This will be remembered that the governing vessel starts from the kidney themselves. Furthermore, the spiritual access says the defensive Qi flows in the yang in daytime and in the yin at night time, starting from the muscle portion of the kidney channel, flowing to the 5 yin and 6 yang organs. Interestingly, the correction of errors in medicine in 1831 by Wang Xingren has diagram showing defensive Qi gathering vessels emerging from the kidneys, thus resistance to a pathogenic factor which includes allergen is dependent not only on the lungs but to a great extent also on the kidneys. So, yun, ganito po yung itsura niya, kidneys natin, then yung defensive Qi vessels natin. Connected po siya, dumadaan po siya dyan. Okay, so yun lang po yung topic natin. Kaya lagi nating tatandaan, pag meron pathology nito, deficiency ng kidney at saka ng lung. Okay, yun lang po. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat, Sir Aldrin. Do we have questions? Okay, so magkakaroon po tayo ng short break next week, Holy Week. So I'd like to greet everyone, happy holidays. And I hope you can attend mamayang gabi, the last part of the 5 shoe points. I'm not sure if Dr. Gavino could come. Okay, so maraming salamat po sa ating mga presenters. Okay, na talagang hindi napapagod mag-present. And congratulations po sa lahat sa atin. Meron na pong nanonood from other countries. Okay, kahit Tagalog tayo. Maraming salamat po, everyone, and good evening po.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you po.
Doc, good evening.
See you later, hopefully.
Thank you po.